All right. I say it in most of my videos, but I'll say it again, you know. I wouldn't even be on the internet if it wasn't for one person. So I do all this for that, but I want to do a good job and it should help a lot of people. And I got a good one for us today. And I'm just going to read some short things real quick. That honest relationships build your life. Deceptive ones quietly destroy it. Lies are not small. They sabotage everything. One honest relationship, a genuine winner who just wants to see you win relationship can change your life. One deceptive one can ruin it, let me tell you. Two, and you're really pushing it, right? Your own mother. And anyway, choose truth every time. I don't tolerate deception. Not in love, not in business. Lies don't hurt feelings. They sabotage destinies. Truth compounds. Lies corrode. That's the difference between winning and ruin. Genuine relationships multiply your power. Deceptive ones drain your future. There is no neutral, right? So this psychosomatic idea that I'm having here, that I'm putting these video notes down about, is really should be doing the hard work, right? So to become too immune to mental manipulation, if I could make my little A team, they would definitely be going through mental manipulation, pattern recognition, and immunity classes on a regular basis, just like nutritional diversity diet on a regular basis. I mean, let's actually use our brains here. Where are we not using our brain? Where are we believing something that doesn't serve our purpose, really, right? So there's a self psyop. We can make ourselves believe the most insane things, and sorry, I've got work going on over here. So we can make ourselves believe insane things to exist in a comfort zone, or to not face what we should face, where growth lies there, right? The magic that you need is in the work that you don't want to do, and it's screaming at you. You know what it is. But if you live any kind of deception, you're not in your destiny track. You're going to have, your fingerprint, role, representation, higher purpose is not being executed in the grander scheme of this beautiful multi-functioning system where our human to nature relationship is insanely potential and insanely ignored anyway, and things like that. So let's look around and see, wow, what have we been separated from? What are we not facing? What lives maybe we might, what lies, and this is hard, you know what I mean? A lot of people will fast forward through this video. I am looking, by the way, I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico, the 90s era. It was hardcore. We used to make a joke. The license plate says Land of Enchantment. We used to say Land of Entrapment because you couldn't go anywhere else, because people just really, they didn't do what you said. They said they didn't have that discipline and that rugged edge as much, and so you got frustrated, right? Anyway, so you go back to the root, anyways. If anyone can control your beliefs, they can control your behavior. I am looking back at cowboy cats that were tough as nails, both male and female. Best mothers I ever saw, all kinds of stuff. And now they can't get behind anything. They live in fear. They go from point A to point B. They can't back up their friends. They can't do what they say in front of their kids, in front of their wife, you know what I mean, in front of their family. It's just like, man, what has happened here? And then the television, and then from the sidelines, I've been in Central and South America for the last 15 years, partly because every time you turn on the news, it's just like, man, it's getting worse and worse and worse. So it's just like, and stupider and stupider and stupider and more conflictive, even socially, out on the streets. And I get visitors come down here and they confirm all of this to me from street honest level, which is very important because we now know that the news is liar news, right? So you can't get out of your chair about the soap opera guys. You can't get out of your chair about the Psy-Op. If they control your behavior, they control your life. The most dangerous manipulation is the one you do to yourself. So let's go back in here. How, just like the Matrix and the red dress chick scene, these people will fight for the system that they've come to depend on, to be comfortably in. You don't depend on nothing. You will survive. Trust me, you are amazing. You will get some bangs and some scrapes, but that's the idea of this life. Don't be afraid of that. You know what I mean? Don't build yourself, and a lot of people have been unfortunately guided by academia, even by culture, not thinking, because they're good people themselves, that most of the biological, ecological even data has been horrifically, brutally smashed to bits and put back together almost with ill intention, if you ask me. And the produce of modern academia, both in agricultural methods and monoculture and crazy chemicals and all that, and in academia personal produce, is just like, man, it's crazy to me. It's as if something, I don't think you could get these results if there wasn't some evil fucking devil at the top of it with the intention to produce these people for nature. And it's like, it's on purpose, but you can get a shovel and get out into nature and get real experience and get real bangs and scrapes out there and start to really know what you're doing. And let me recommend that over and over and over again. As far as I'm concerned, anyone running with me has got to do the vision quest on a regular basis, because you've got to ground yourself. You've got to get good nutrition, especially when you get to be an old schooler. And when you look out for young schoolers, truly, now that we know what we know, right, you got to switch your whole agriculture source. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be truly tough and truly real, and someone who does what they say and possesses that character and just screams, this guy's all over it, and generates that momentous energy. Don't get it twisted. These people who are rocking and rolling through life, this is developed momentum over days, weeks, months, years. And you need to get started right now if you haven't already. That's it. It's nothing. No, there's no regrets. People who, as Carl Jung says, people who have gone far down the trail of negative spectrum, let's just put, right, minus sign, to whatever degree. And there's beauty over there, right? But the further the more time you've got over there, the more broader, the more brilliant, the more sharp your time can be over here, and the lighter spectrum of it all, right? So what Self Psyop actually is, you adopted beliefs you didn't earn in life. And you don't really necessarily, I don't believe anything. I mean, all my positions are open. I'm seeking more than I'm concluding or believing or opinionated. I'm listening, actually. We don't need to be right anymore. I've carved that out of myself with daily self-development, intention, and personal inventory. That's what builds character. That's still true strength. And a truly strong person can tell you the truth. They won't stab you in the back when the carrot's baited for them to do so in whatever way. You defend conclusions you never verified. You repeat narratives that feel good but don't serve your mission. Comfort is the delivery system of self-deception. And let me just say this. I can see now that I've super studied the Psy Ops and everything for a long time, and I've watched the Psy Op be done from an adult to a young person, a very child-minded adult to a young person, obsessively, ridiculously. So now I can see all the different patterns of the Psy-Oping, right? And once you fall victim to one of them, man, it's just like your subconscious seems to completely recognize, oh, we are taking for truth this thing we didn't see with our own eyes and are unable to completely verify. all this is hearsay. We know that too, right? This liar TV center or whatever, we know it's a liar source even, but we're just going to operate as this is the going gospel. So now you're not in the right gospel, that's for damn sure. And what is that robbing you of? Exactly. So does this belief increase capability or reduce it? Would I still hold it if it cost me social approval? You know, a belief can't survive questioning. It doesn't deserve to guide your life. Purpose as the filter. Purpose is the only real lie detector. Ask, does this belief move me closer to my highest responsibility? Because that's the truth. If it's not an ingredient of that, then it's not in the recipe, period. You know, does it sharpen me or soften me? Does it produce strength, clarity, and action? If it doesn't align with purpose, if it's noise, or if it's a weapon used against you or someone else, some negative, clearly thing, right? Conflicted thing that's not yours, that you don't have nothing to do with directly, and you can't be weaponized against your brother, sister, or whatever by evil people and be super enmeshed and attached and loyal to them, which is really the syndrome at whatever degree and every dynamic from parent to presidential level and that we have going on. So mental manipulation uses the same levers. Fear, all manipulation uses these same levers. Fear, shame, identity hijacking, identity enmeshment, all right? Social pressure, repetition without proof. Once you see the pattern, it loses power. Once you see the complete pattern beyond this, and I'll put a link in the description below for Kia Carlberg's genius work, which we are ambassadors of. if we're becoming bulletproof, and I'm telling you, you know, you can become an expert in mentalism, mental sparring, and mentalistic operations and become a total daemon. Or you can be just simply put all that work into being cognizant of what it is so that your life doesn't need to go through it left and right. Because, man, the numbers are staggeringly more than what's on that website, I think it might be even starting to be close to 1 in 5 people, honestly. In certain pockets, it's fucking everybody. In these Jerry Springer areas, one diamond will get out and he will be completely galvanized against that whole type of lifestyle, you know? And then he'll meet up with other dudes just like him. They're just like, fuck that. All manipulation uses fear, shame, identity hijacking, social pressure, repetition without proof. Manipulation survives in fog, clarity kills it. Let me be very clear. I don't give a shit. Everyone that sits there and counts critics and, oh, he's crazy and, oh, he's intense. All you're saying is, I am a bitch. He's actually doing something noble for one person he couldn't get through, and now he's just and against a witchcraft that just wasn't cool, and now he's just gonna throw down some evidence of who he actually is and what he really actually seeks after, and the direction he's pointed in, right? Because I'm not coming to you. I probably, in reality, am one of the closer things to the Kung Fu master at the top of the hill, to be honest with you. But I'm not coming to you like that. I'm just coming to you as a fellow journeyman. And I feel like it's really unfortunate. There's so many people caught in the Psy-Op right now at various degrees. And they've been pulled right out of their own character. And that, how can they respect themselves? They can't. You really have a beautifully complex but very cognizant system. A well-refined, well-oiled watch. You got to use the right oils. You can't you got to keep the pieces correct. You got to maybe machine something from time to time if there's been some collisions. You know what I mean? And get that thing back together. But most definitely, this well-oiled machine needs all the pieces, everything in alignment, everything adjusted well, right? And this is a daily discipline and process that I get up usually 2 a.m. to start getting done. Because the more I sharpen the blade, the sharper I become to cut through life, And the biggest things in the blade are going to come from the falling to manipulation, falling to trickery, falling to evil schemers with bad intentions. We can all tolerate somebody if they do something accidentally, but people who have the intention to do bad things, it's just like, and then they really take us for everything, right? Becoming bulletproof. Verify before believing. Detach emotion from evaluation. Like Dragnet, man, you got to get conflicted investigative data over time, slowly but surely sniffing things out. Like a sniper, you're playing the waiting game. A lot of times you may push some pressure, right? And you might start to question. You might start to do some little bit of tit for, see what they're made of. If you don't test, you won't know. If you just take a person at their word, well, let me just tell you, once you find out that their word isn't what they are, man, and you continue, well, I heard it. I think DMX said it best. DMX said this. He said, you got to trust people to be who they are. You can trust them. Trust them to be who they are. And act accordingly. You know what I mean? You're not going to get everywhere in conflict, just like in this, where's my dog? Like, dogs for life, right? You're not going to get anywhere in conflict. You've got to be tactical. We can't be pitted against each other quite the way the Psy-Op has pitted us against each other now. We can't be so opinionated. Fuck that. Fuck him. He's crazy for making videos. He's crazy for doing the right thing, no matter how hard it is to do. Even though everybody he knows would never go on the internet, including him. I was just a minute ago, I was so proud. And just before that, I didn't even have a bank account or a phone. You know what I mean? And for a while, I was so proud I didn't exist on the internet. But I was just like, all right, you know what? I got to do this. Obviously, I got to do this. So let's go. And I truly believe that mentally, consciously upgrading yourself is the only way to be bulletproof completely from a Psy-Op, and it's the only way to get yourself out of Psy-Ops you're already in. To pry yourself out of the toxic soup. I promised you, once you're 10 feet away, you're going to be, I was in that. But you can't see while you're in it. You can't see while it's running through your veins. You got to go and get time in nature on a regular basis. And you got to do that self-inventory. And you got to verify before believing. You got to detach your emotions. You got to measure belief by outcomes, not feelings. You got to accept temporary discomfort to avoid permanent damage. The truth doesn't always feel good, but it makes you stronger. And if you continue to not face the things you need to, your subconscious knows that, and it turns into a tailspin where you're basically just saying, I'm a piece of shit that doesn't need to do what I say to myself. And that's the ultimate Psy-Op I don't want you to get. And it seems to be the ultimate Psy-Op that a lot of people want people to get. And they don't just want you fat. They don't just want you unhealthy. They don't want you mentally crazy, pilled up on stuff. They want you in dire, deep conflict with your family members. They want you in dire, deep conflict. They don't want you to be able to go to people's funerals at some points in this. You know what I mean? They're Russian roulette or who knows what just happened. Maybe it's time release. They don't give they got this family court snuck on us. There's so much vehicles of manipulation that are like government fueled that, as far as I can tell, Look at all the documentaries, even Vice, of the horrible lawyers and the way they treat their girlfriends and and butcher, black bitches. Become bulletproof. Except closing. Okay, so the highest form of freedom is not being programmable. It really truly is right now. In the age of total witchcraft, Psy-Op, voodoo, whatever you want to call it, voodoobreaker.com to kill some control freaks and not go to jail, to like reactivate your DNA, maybe, right? Because I'm just saying, and listen, when you go to less educated cultures, because you're a worldwide James Bond type, right? And you see all these different cultures, and you see the less educated ones, and you see the symptoms that they're suffering because of that lack of education in simple ways, right? And I mean, people according to Amen Poman who were so incredibly advanced and incredible health and incredible, but it was that knowledge, it was that education, it was that standing on the shoulders of greats that let them see further. And when that was all taken away from them, they were reduced to slave states. Even now, like I live in a you can have I have the super diet no kings ever had every single day. But the culture here, they would call me crazy too. You gotta be crazy to really move the needle. You know what I mean? And I am crazy, and I don't hang out with no one really. Only super quality people. I recommend the same for everyone. We've got to not hold the line. We've got to push the lines forward always, because if you're not growing, you're dying. Period. Period. And we've got one life to live, and we've got plenty of potential to do plenty of beautiful things. And if your soul is full, and you've done the reps, and study, and you've gone to anti-narcissism.org and you've read over that, and you see that there truly is a condition, and the worst thing you can get in this Psy-Op game is you become a Psy-Opper who manipulates other people and leverages other people and manipulates your children even. I don't know how 50 Cent's oldest kid is not being dragged around town behind the bus until there's no bone left. I mean, seriously, look at the adventure she robbed this young man of and the mental condition she's given him. You know what I mean? David Goggins is a hero of our time. I don't understand how there's not a criminal investigation looking at the Psy-Op fucking child abuse that mother did on that kid, because David Goggins is a hero to everyone, but not his own, and I walk in those same shoes, and that's the kind of in-depth Psy-Op experience that I've had that is just like, wow, and then once you see it at that level, I'm telling you, then you start to see it at all levels of government and media as tactics everywhere. Maddie at Anti-Alienation Project, I'll put a link below. Look, I sponsor and support people. I think, you see the thing that they're trying to push. Society's going like this. I'm telling you, there's a better way. There's a better way with diet. There's a better way with agriculture. There's a better way with sustainable community. You know what I mean? There's a better, and we're building the models. I got tons of models down here in Central and South America. I'm coming to you from Panama right now. I can show you incredible health, incredible freedom, and an incredible, you would be shocked at how little you got to liquidate up there to get something down here. You're not balling until you have your own agriculture, and we've got the spirit tip of that, right? And I'm blessed to be a part of that movement, a fellow journeyman in that movement. It by all means does not start or end with me. I'm a small speck of dust that is willing itself through the breeze and the warm and storm to this direction that calls to me specifically. And I went out into nature for an extended period of time, as all ancient cultures have taught their young people, and I do it on a regular basis, and I do a self-inventory, and I challenge myself and I end up fasting for several days, and I really put myself to the test in every way. And unless you test, well, there's no testimony, there's no, there's no proof to yourself. And so you really need to get that proof on a constant basis and work on that proof and strengthen that proof and toughen that proof. And if you spend all day, if you're like, yo, what's up? Here's the strongest move in social time. Yeah, it's great to see you guys. That was a great idea. Don't give me no gossip ever again in your life, please. Thank you very much. I gotta run either way. Boom, boom, boom. Right back to self-work. Right now, when you're in the social situations every single time, you're socially valuable a little bit more than, and once you have extreme PTSD, and if you think that that's not real, as I tell everyone, we can definitely get you there. Why? And you're able to treat the symptoms if you get up early and do all this stuff and you put a lot of work into your character, just like I'm telling you. Now, it's so funny when you watch these guys who have lost their legs and lost their arms, and they've got more appreciation for life than anybody, right? It's just like, it's beautiful, but they really, you really gain that incredible appreciation for life. Down here, too, it's like, people, they don't need as much, not even close, and they're happy, and it's beautiful. This is a beautiful life. It really, truly does help to be in an environment where that's the vibe, that's the sentiment, that's the mentality. People are a little bit more concentrated on nature. And the Psy-Op creeps in on people, man. The Psy-Op creeps in on people. Right here in nutritional paradise, most of these people are eating fried patacones with the worst oil you've ever seen. You can drive by the monocultures and see every spectrum of jungle and effect to that jungle that they're having to make this crazy, nasty palm oil. All right, we're at like 27 minutes, so I want to try to keep these things somewhat short. But yeah, don't get yourself worked into a cubicle and miss an adventure. Don't get yourself worked and don't get yourself chained, needed, and loyal and all that to a Jerry Springer household. That's a hardcore one people don't talk about. And you've got to completely break away, man. And then you've got to get in with the volleyball crew, with the sports people, with the boxing gym, and just work on self for a solid month. And on that path that illuminates as you walk it, I tell everybody, you go to the Winners Club. That's the first hour the gym is open. You go every day. You smash the workout like no one's ever seen. And in a month, I promise you, you have the most ridiculous opportunity in front of you never thought was possible. If you do it and that doesn't happen, call me and watch that. All right, but I want to see it documented on your Instagram. Boom, boom, boom. Here I am. This is what I did. Here's this fucking sweat at the end. Here's the scale every time. Here's my diet, exactly what it is on the chronometer app. Weighed, everything verified. If you don't have a scale, have them do it at the supermarket and packages for you. Give them a tip, whatever you got to do. Who will try to find local farmers and get your diet through them, so that karmically also, you walk proud that you're no longer in bed, a stockholder of the shit I was just talking about, the naturally destructive, cancer-causing. If you truly love your family, you're going to get them a water filter. I don't sell those right now or anything. Well, I'll tell you what. Those of you who are living in a hard environment, we've all been living in hard environments for a long time, forever. They have found herbs such as caffeine. A lot of people, my boy, what's up? He's having a great results with the carnivore diet. I'm sure he's still drinking coffee. Don't forget about the benefits in plant essences. Keep your study going on. If you can learn to manage those, then you can stay healthy. I've never done a steroid. I've never done a peptide. I've never injected anything for health. All right. And I can't stand pills. I can't stand drugs. I can't stand none of that. All right. And so not for mental, not for psychological, physical, or everything. I'm completely all natural. You can see more at nutritionaldiversity.com. We can do some coaching one-on-one at brandonangelfitness.com and at epicdawn.org. There's a tribe of guys. We've got a couple different groups on the WhatsApp, on the Telegram, on the Facebook, and we just exchange self-development material and do some morning powwows every now and again. All right? Stay tough.